A complete list of radical Islamic terror attacks on U.S. soil under Obama's speech at MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa, Florida on Tuesday. President Obama declared that no foreign terrorist organization has successfully planned and executed an attack on our homeland. The claim earned perfunctory applause, but a closer look at the reaction of many of the servicemen and women there made clear what they really thought about the administration's handling of national security. The president's claim, which he has repeated in some form or fashion over the last few years, is an obvious rhetorical attempt to gloss over the reality of the threat of radical Islamic terror on American soil. The attempt to disconnect lone wolf terrorists from the terror organizations who often inspire them does nothing to alleviate the pain of those who have suffered at the hands of jihadists, and only hurts prevention efforts. Rhetorical tricks aside, the reality is that during Obama's tenure scores of innocent Americans have been murdered on U.S. soil by jihadists, most of whom were inspired by or acting under the direction of foreign terror groups, particularly the Islamic State. Below is a list of the major, verifiable radical Islamic terror attacks successfully planned and executed on U.S. soil since Obama first took office in 2009. The first section provided by Daily Wire's Aaron Bandler. Little Rock, Arkansas, June 1, 2009. Abdul Hakim Mujahid Muhammad shot and murdered one soldier, Army Private William Andrew Long, and injured another, Private Quintana Ziagula, at a military recruiting station in Little Rock. Muhammad reportedly converted to Islam in college and was on the FBI's radar after being arrested in Yemen, a hotbed of radical Islamic terrorism, for using a Somali passport, even though he was a U.S. citizen. In a note to an Arkansas judge, Muhammad claimed to be a member of al-Qaeda in the Arab Peninsula, the terror group's Yemen chapter. Fort Hood, Texas, November 5, 2009. Major Nadal Malik Hazen shot up a military base in Fort Hood and murdered 14 people. Hazen was in contact with al-Qaeda terrorist Anwar al-Awlaki prior to the attack and shouted Allahu Akbar as he fired upon the soldiers on the Fort Hood base. After being sentenced to death, Hazen requested to join ISIS while on death row. It took 6 years for Obama to acknowledge the shooting as a terror attack instead of workplace violence. Boston, Massachusetts, April 15, 2013. Tamerlan and Dozkar Tsarnaev set off 2 bombs at the 2013 Boston Marathon, killing 3 and injuring over 260 people. The Tsarnaev brothers later shot and murdered Massachusetts Institute of Technology police officer Sean Collier. The Tsarnaev brothers were self-radicalized through online jihadist propaganda and through a mosque with ties to al-Qaeda. Moore, Oklahoma, September 24, 2014. Alton Nolan beheaded a woman, Colleen Huff, at a Vaughn Foods plant and stabbed and injured another person. While Nolan's motives are unclear, he appears to have been another radicalized Muslim who was obsessed with beheadings. Queens, New York, October 23, 2014. Zale Thompson, another self-radicalized Muslim, injured 2 police officers with a hatchet before being shot dead by other cops. Thompson reportedly indoctrinated himself with ISIS, al-Qaeda and al-Shabaab Somali jihadist terror group websites and was a lone wolf attacker. Brooklyn, New York, December 20, 2014. Ismail Brinsley shot and murdered 2 police officers execution style, and his Facebook page featured jihadist postings and had ties to a terror-linked mosque. Garland, Texas, May 3, 2015. 2 gunmen shot up the Curtis Culwell Center in Garland, where a Muhammad cartoon contest was taking place, and were killed by a police officer. ISIS claimed responsibility for the attack. Chattanooga, Tennessee, July 16, 2015. Muhammad Yusuf Abdulaziz shot and killed 4 Marines and a sailor at a military base in Chattanooga and was believed to have been inspired by ISIS. San Bernardino, California, December 14, 2015. 2 radical Islamists, Said Farouk and Tashfeen Malik, shot and murdered 14 people and injured 22 others at an office holiday party. Orlando, Florida, June 12, 2016. Omar Mateen, 29, opened fire at a gay nightclub, killing 49 and injuring 53. The FBI investigated Mateen twice before his rampage, but did not take any substantive action. Officials believe Mateen was self-radicalized, but he pledged fealty to ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi before his death. "The real Muslims will never accept the filthy ways of the West," Mateen posted on his Facebook page after committing his heinous act at Pulse nightclub. "I pledge my allegiance to ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. May Allah accept me," he wrote. St. Cloud, Minnesota, September 17, 2016. Dahir Ahmed Aden, a 20-year-old Somali refugee, began hacking at people with a steak knife at a Minnesota mall, injuring 9 people before he was shot dead by off-duty police officer Jason Falconer. The FBI said numerous witnesses heard Aden yelling Allahu Akbar and Islam, Islam during the rampage. He also asked potential victims if they were Muslims before inflicting wounds in their heads, necks, and chests. The FBI believed he had recently become self-radicalized. As the Daily Wire highlighted, the Minneapolis Star-Tribune attempted to blame anti-Muslim tensions for his murderous actions. New York City/New Jersey, September 17, 2016. Ahmad Khan Rahami, a 28-year-old naturalized citizen from Afghanistan, set off multiple bombs in New York and New Jersey. In Chelsea, his bomb resulted in the injury of over 30 people. Rahami wrote in his journal that he was connected to terrorist leaders, and appears to have been heavily influenced by Sheikh Anwar al-Awlaki, Nidal Hassan, and Osama bin Laden. "I pray to the beautiful wise Allah, do not take jihad away from me," Rahami wrote. USA government, continue your unintelligible slaughter against the holy warriors, be it Afghanistan, Iraq, Sham, Syria, Palestine. Columbus, Ohio, November 28, 2016. Abdul Razak Ali Artan, an ISIS-inspired 20-year-old Somali refugee who had been granted permanent legal residence in 2014 after living in Pakistan for 7 years, attempted to run over his fellow Ohio State students on campus. After his car was stopped by a barrier, he got out of the vehicle and began hacking at people with a butcher knife before being shot dead by a campus police officer. He injured 11 people, 1 critically. ISIS took credit for the attack, describing Artan as their soldier. Just 3 minutes before his rampage, Artan posted a warning to America on Facebook that the lone wolf attacks will continue until America gives peace to the Muslims. He also praised deceased al-Qaeda cleric Anwar al-Awlaki as a hero. Note, while this list contains the major, verifiable radical Islamic attacks over the last 8 years, there are other incidents suspected of having been motivated by the ideology but have not been verified to be so.